It was like a BMX track up there.
I feel like, Jeremy, you were the first guy. I was there in 02 with Nick, at the end of 01 with Nick Way, and a lot when Yamaha Troy days and stuff. And I feel like I saw you do that a lot. Like you were just like the transitions. You were just playing around and just jumping lane to lane. And I don't know. I don't remember ever seeing people do that before you. I don't know. I guess it did, but I don't know. I feel like you brought that into it.
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I was always like trying to find something different to do than do laps. You know what I mean?
Right.
I always liked the laps, but after that, I think, I think one of my advantages is I really had a lot of seat time. So I rode a lot. I knew exactly what my bike was going to do and when it was going to do it. And if you guys remember back in the 90s, like I had my own Supercross track at my parents' place.
Yep.
And I built that track myself every year, every winter. I'd get out there and build it all. But every single jump there was so steep. It was like Excite Bike, And I would have like crazy steep right out of corners, and then I'd have a crazy steep lander like right into a corner. And I had all these wild jumps. And everyone that always came over, they'd always crash out. And like, I don't know how many concussions Phil Lawrence got at my practice track. I'm not sure how many. Him and Rhino would come over, and boy, it was on for who could crash the hardest. So I don't know. I think I was always, during that time in my career, I was always looking for a challenge, something that was going to really test me. And I think that's where kind of that riding, jumping lane to lane, and just always like putting a kicker on something or trying to do something that really wasn't supposed to be done. But I don't know. It's just I was always trying to entertain myself, whether it was scary or not. And I think that just came from I don't know. I don't know where that came from. Maybe just from my BMX days, on the bicycle, you couldn't screw it up, right? You couldn't come up short, or you're losing time, or you're going to get bucked over the bars or something like that. So it was just kind of one of those things that I was just, I don't know, just being a boy, I guess.
Right. I used to yell at Red Dog at the test track because he would ride the same 4-inch groove around the outside of the track, the whole time, right? He just do lap after lap after lap. I'm pretty sure he could ride that track with his eyes closed. And one time I said to him, look at DV, watch DV. And DV, at that day at the track, you were taking every inside. You were doing a moto, rolling the inside, and, putting together whatever combo you could. Like, I think you were single, doubling the triple. I don't even remember, things like that. And I'm like, go do that. Like, you've got this track dialed. Like, it's got a groove, 4-inch groove around the whole thing of it. Just go learn,
and I used to do that. And even with Dylan, when I was coaching him, we used to do try to go at the track when there was no other riders, and we would go like a figure 8. Like maybe not take the triple backwards because it's not very interesting. And then take like a 3 or 4 lanes backwards and make a track like a hybrid track, and just to change it up. But because it doesn't get you anywhere to do that for like 3 months. Right?
Yeah, just something different, right? I agree.
I mean, we can all get used to one track and just ride it over and over, and then your suspension, you can get used to that. I mean, then all of a sudden you're really not making any gains, So I think DV was one of those guys that definitely saw the track differently, like I did, and there was other lines out there, and which is something I think we've gone through in the last 10, 12 years of our sport. Really, nobody's really looking for anything different other than a lap time. Yeah. So it's not quite as interesting as it used to be. I think we used to have a lot more fun with the tracks and whatever. Like that. It seems gotten better lately, but for a while there it was pretty, just kind of, as we say, one line, just kind of thing.
Yeah, lap time wars at the facilities every day.
But it's more like motos. Yeah. I think it's like everybody wants to do like what Aldon was doing in early 2000, like motos, like sprints,
sure.
like 3/6s and this and that, and then they start and they have the mechanic has a pit board. And it's laps. So when you have the pit board, you have to take the fastest line all the time. I think it's the riding and training program that changed over the years, and I think everybody wants to do the same thing because they think there's only one recipe.
Ricky did it or whatever.
Yeah, there's only one recipe to win, and there is different one. There's sometimes I coach. I'm like, I don't even get the stopwatch out.
Right.
We don't need that. Do something else.
I think for a long time the stopwatch kind of ruined a lot of the creativity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, obviously, because you have to do the fast stuff all the time.
Yeah, and if you don't do it that way, then you feel like you're getting left behind, or you get an extra boost of confidence by having fast laps, or if you're not having fast laps, then that can affect some riders too, or whatever. But I think for a long time, the stopwatch kind of took away some of the creativity of our sport.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you for sure.
Yeah.
702-586 Pulp. You got a question for the King of Supercross, Jeremy McGrath, or David Vuillemin, the King of Bercy?